lab.
Yeah, that's another big hurdle. I'm trying to connect the dots. There's so much to dig into the Ithaca, New York, to the Finger Lakes. I've got to find that video.
So the Finger Lakes, that was such a huge thing. Listen, that came totally organically. I had no idea. You know what? I saw those tattoos on Hunter Biden like 4 years ago, George. And I remember looking at them, and you know what my immediate thought was?
Mm-mm.
I thought it was just some creepy Freddy Krueger style claw mark on his back. Yeah. And like I was sitting there a few weeks ago and I was just like, well, I messaged you when it happened because I literally just had it was such an organic connection that when I found information that backed it up, I literally nearly imploded, I think. I just like, so I'm just going to state this for the record right now for everyone listening. I find it very highly interesting that there's rumors that the Great Lakes lead to places that we don't know about. I don't know whether it's the Hollow Earth. I don't know whether it's I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a deep underground tunnel. I don't know what the hell it is. But isn't it interesting that those rumors exist there? Then Hunter Biden has that on his back. We know he is directly related to child trafficking. We also know that Ghislaine Maxwell has a submarine license. She has a submarine license. Does that mean that she is trafficking kids through to the center of the earth? I'm sorry, that is so whack. Can I just say that is such a whack thought? But what the hell? Why does she have a submarine license? I always thought that was so weird.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. I think anything that they put out for us to investigate is, and I've learned this especially over just the last year, is to send us down the wrong trail. I think this whole Jeffrey Epstein Island thing and his little, his blue and white little whatever that is, I think it's a deception. I
agree.
do think that the Finger Lakes, there's something to it. There's a video out there that's like 10 hours long where there is reports of these underground caverns, whatever, underground military bases in that whole area between Ithaca, New York, and that whole area. But here's something that y'all should. It's good, Kim. I love hearing you talk. You're not blowing up the chat. You're fine. So I'm going to tell you guys this, and this is for you guys. I've been working on this for a year, and I can't make the dang on connection. Mayor Corey Mason is the mayor of Racine, Wisconsin. And there's a lot of deep, dark stuff that goes on and has been going on for years in Racine, Wisconsin. There's really, really creepy Freemason headquarters there. But there's that whole area there's a lot of questionable activities that go onto it. Now you say, okay, what does that have to do with the price of chickens in Nicaragua? Well, Corey Mason's brother runs the Mason Lab by Cornell University. Racine, Wisconsin is on one end of the Finger Lakes. Ithaca, New York is right by the other end of the Finger Lakes. Ghislaine Maxwell had a submarine. This guy works at the Mason Laboratory, and they have imposed this 500-year plan for the survival of the human species on Earth, in space, and on other planets. And if you read these people's plan on how they want, it's crazy. These guys are knee-deep in genetics, and it's weird how one guy is the mayor of Racine at one end of the Finger Lakes, and the other guy just so happens to be this leading genome scientist at Cornell University right at the other end of the Finger Lakes. And then you hear all the rumors of the elites, and I hate using that word again, but the Bidens and all these people who go to the Finger Lakes, and the reports are that's where they do their adrenochrome.
How can you not look at it like that? All of the evidence points that way. Listen, we've been programmed to not look at evidence because it's so far out there. But listen, everyone understands the fact that the technology that we see now is at least 100 years behind what they have behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
I hope everyone understands that, because if you take that into consideration and look what's going on now, then advance us 100 years in the future with this technology, everyone should be shaking in their space boots. Literally. Everyone should be literally ready to just walk out their doors and not come home until the job is done getting rid of these people, because and exploring how we need to go find out if this stuff is true. We need a militia. We need our own little resistance army to all join up with some tactical skills, and we need to go explore these Great Lakes. We need to go do this stuff. We need to go see this stuff. I feel like we just need to far out. I'm so glad I don't live in America. Can I just say, George, I'd probably be dead. I literally wouldn't be able to stop. I wouldn't be able to stop looking.
There was a guy on YouTube. He literally left. I think he was from Phoenix, Arizona. He drove up to Racine, and all he did for a week was videotape all the things that went on around there. A lot of empty buildings. It's like a half-empty town. It's so creepy. There's an ulterior motive to that place that's going on. And I'm the same way. I wish I could just take off for a week, rent a car, and go investigate these things, because, again, the things they put out, even, with Q, I always feel like they're leading us, they're intentionally leading us down the wrong trail. Anything that comes out, whether intentionally or accidentally, I think they're breadcrumbs. I think they know exactly what is coming out. I don't think there's a such thing as leaks. It's all intentional.
In the post that I'm going to post for this chat right here with a bunch of links, I'm going to put a video of Marina Abramovich saying that Trump was going to be the magician that woke everyone up. Okay, listen. I'm out. That woman said it. I feel like that everything that you just said is just exactly right, George, because we can't trust any of these people. It doesn't matter who it is. And everyone needs to get out of this Q, Trump, right-wing, left-wing mindset, because it doesn't matter which wing you're on. It doesn't matter what you believe in. These people believe in something more than you have ever believed in anything in your entire existence. They literally torture their children to the point where they feel like they have genetically brought forth a spirit from the realms of hell. Like, these are the people we're dealing with.
There's a question for you in the chat room I'd like to ask. This is from A to Z. He asked, has Kayla heard anything about Paxvax? They are trying to release an airborne vaccine.
So interesting that you bring that up. I actually didn't get a chance to bring that up in the episode 2 that I just uploaded before we started this show. I tried recording it like 5 million times, so I left out a bunch of stuff that I originally had planned for that episode. But let me just find these. I found here in Australia there was hang on, let me just find it. Dealings involving intentional release. Okay, so they're called DIR. R's. See, accents, it gets me hard. So it's ogtr.gov.au is where I found these. And it's dealings involving intentional release. Details on the applications and licenses for dealings involving an intentional release of a GMO into the environment. 193 results. Commercial supply of a genetically modified infectious laryngitis vaccine for chickens. Clinical trial of genetically modified orthopoxvirus as a cancer treatment. Commercial import and distribution of chrysanthemum genetically modified for altered flower color. Listen, where was this other one? Hang on a sec. Clinical trial with genetically modified E. coli to reduce antibiotic resistance. Commercial supply of genetically modified COVID-19 vaccine. Where is this other one? There was one that was written specifically to be aerosol release. Commercial supply.
Would it be Vaxchora?
It doesn't have, so it's not like that. It's a government website where it's broken down into weird number systems. So I have to actually physically go through and look at each individual DIR outside of the summary to find out exactly what it's about. So, but there is one in here that is, hang on a sec. I had it up to talk about for my show because it was so interesting. Here we go. Clinical trial of live attenuated genetically modified influenza vaccines through aerosol. live attenuated genetically modified influenza vaccines through aerosol distribution. What?
And that's funny. It made such a big story that there's a website, AAP, which is, I guess, the Australians' fact-checked website. Chemtrails vaccine claim is a flight of fancy. And this is just from 6 weeks ago. And you know, if they're going out of their way to fact-check something, you must be over the target.
Always have been, mate, especially when it comes to GMOs. These guys have been. So I think I mentioned this with you a few weeks ago on one of the shows we did together, George, that back in the day, so before everyone started paying attention to vaccines, we were finding people that were aware of this happening were finding biological remnants in the soil. They were dropping fragmented DNA on us at that point. What else could they be doing now? Like, people avoid contact with other people's blood on purpose. Do you know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah.
Like, and they're dropping it on you in the sky. And isn't it interesting that the sickness that comes from chemtrails is called Magellan's?
Oh, right back to the Maxwells.
Thank you. Like I said, very interesting play on words, huh? It's all connected so intricately, and it's so easy to tie these, like, and I know it's just wordplay, but they love wordplay. Wordplay is one of their go-tos for coding. That's why they name things the way they do.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny, people will still to this day, if you try to mention that there's some type of weather manipulation going on, they call you a silly conspiracy theorist. But the fact of the matter is, you know, it's been 15, 20 years when number one, they were doing it back in Vietnam. They've acknowledged that. Can I show this real quick clip?
Do it. Yeah, do it. Can you share on mine?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, good. Share away, because I can't share. It'll shut down my whole StreamYard if I try and share. So you share away, whatever videos
there you go. So if you just click on that tab right there, if you bring it into the screen.
Add to stream.
All right, guys.
Hey, look at me go.
Here we go. This is only 2 minutes, but this is from 1995, Robert Fletcher.
Sure. Another question on the in an interview with the Los Angeles Times on April 21st, you said that you told the Associated Press that the American government has created weather tampering techniques so that the New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans and to control the rest. Would you explain what you were trying to say?
Well, what I was trying to say is exactly what I said. There is weather control techniques. We have a complete package on that, which I did not bring, but I certainly will see to it that it is brought in for the record. Number one, the entire patents on the equipment. Number two, Senator Claiborne Pell's complete statement and story of his own that not only does it exist, but that we even utilize it as far back as the Vietnam War. You might want to touch base with Senator Pell.
I just want to repeat before I turn to
question. Yes, but we do have all that information.
You're saying the government has created weather tampering techniques so that the, quote, New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans.
Worldwide.
Millions of Americans, and to control the rest.
Yes, sir, and that's my belief. As bizarre as that sounds, if somebody had told me that equipment even existed 10 years ago, I would have thought they were nuts, sir. And at this point in time, we have all the documents to prove it. And if you think that 85 tornadoes takes place in the middle of our growing area by simultaneous accident, I'm sorry. With the equipment that's already set up internationally, and as bizarre as that is, it is proven and documented. We will supply you with those documents. As bizarre as that is, I would say that weather wars, and this is quoting actually Senator Claiborne Pell himself, that they are the greatest weapon ever created in the world, and that's the senator's own statement. So yes, I do stand on that.
Thank you, Mr. Fletcher. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
That was 27 years ago in the United States Senate, and how many people have ever heard that?
Not many, if any. That was the first time I've ever seen that testimony.
Robert Fletcher.
When you said that to me the other day, that was the first time I'd ever seen that Senate testimony. Phenomenal. Well said. And look at so that was 1995. We're now in 2022. And I would like to bring everyone's attention round to the fact that we are looking down the barrel of a massive famine.
Yeah, I was just telling my